More stunning numbers on fundraising, and not for the presidential campaign. Big donors, super PACs, and special interest groups are pouring money into congressional and gubernatorial races, even state legislative contests. A super PAC supporting Democratic candidates for the House, for example, has purchased nearly $16 million in ad time this fall. Labor unions putting in about $4 million into congressional races. Over on the Republican side, deep pocket donors like Sheldon Adelson, the Koch brothers, and Donald Trump putting millions into local races. Joining me is David Hawkings. He writes the CQ Roll Call Daily Briefing. Good to see you, David. Good morning.
Good morning, Chris.
These numbers are absolutely, I think, mind-boggling. We've never seen anything like this, have we?
No, we haven't. For example, the House Majority PAC, which you just alluded to, that is now committed to spending $16 million this fall on about 4 dozen congressional races. At Memorial Day, they'd raised only $2 million. Now they have 8 times as much money as they had just a few weeks ago. So the money's pouring in. The amount of money raised by the Republican Governors Association this year, by contrast, they've raised $30 million so far this year. There are only 12 governors' races on the ballot this fall. They'd raised 29 for all of 2 years ago when there were 35 governor's races on the ballot. So the arms race, the political arms race, is just accelerating every morning. We wake up and see these new record-breaking numbers.
Yeah, for example, the Republican Governors Association got $1 million just from Sheldon Adelson, $2 million from David Koch and Koch Industries. So what do they get out of that?
What do they get? I guess they think that they get victories and they get conservative policies. I mean, Adelson, as you know, he was Newt Gingrich's big benefactor, and when that race was going on, he was all about promoting Israel and promoting a presidential candidate that he thought was all about Israel. I guess what they really want is, you know, they want Romney to have all of Washington at his beck and call. If he has a congressional majority that is both House and Senate, if he has governors and state legislators that are more and more Republican, that'll just bubble up the conservative farm team for the bigs.
Farm team is interesting because I guess if you happen to back a rising star, say a Nikki Haley or Rick Scott or Chris Christie, then does eventually run for national office, you're already kind of an insider, right?
That's exactly right. And even below that, if you're backing an Aaron Schock, for example, a young he started out in his 20s as a state legislator in Illinois, is now a rising star in the House Republican firmament, is already thinking about going statewide, and I don't think he's even beyond his early 30s yet. So you want to invest in them when they're young, just as you do with baseball teams.
So that's what's going on with even some of these state legislative races?
Oh, I absolutely think so. I think that especially now, this is the post-redistricting period, so all these state legislative maps have been redrawn. There are a lot of open seats in these state legislatures this year. They want to build the farm team that can dominate state legislatures, and then governor's races for the next decade.
Do you have a sense of how worried Democrats are at this point? Because they have not been able to keep up with this fundraising for these levels of contests.
They haven't. The one thing I would say is that they do seem to be making a surge at the House level, at the House Democratic level. House Democrats need 25 seats to gain control. There is some worry on the Republican side that there is a little bit of complacency on the Republican side, that they have a relatively big lead to sit on, whereas the Democrats seem to be surging in. As you mentioned before, this SEIU, the union that represents janitors and hospital workers and state and local officials, combining with the House Majority PAC, which is funded principally by other unions and trial lawyers and other groups that are associated mainly with Democrats, pouring money in, investing very wisely. They think that they can target some small media markets or mid-sized media markets. For example, Sacramento, California. They're going to pour money in there because there are actually 4 congressional races that could go either way, where the voters watch TV in Sacramento, California. A little bit of money could go a long way.
Fascinating stuff. David Hawkings, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks, Chris.
And